Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. I feel blessed to bring to you another episode of his story through the eyes of his boys. And today we have brothers from Sri Lanka who narrate their journey with Bhagwan. So let us start this program with our prayer. Please join me. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. Om Shri Sai Ram and welcome back. Today we have a pleasure to listen to two of our brothers who originally hailed from Sri Lanka, an island nation, their journey towards the Lord and their quest to become His students and their learnings. So, without wasting another minute, let me have the pleasure of introducing you one by one. Brother Keshavan,
Saram,
Sai Ram,
Saram.
and welcome to this program. And Brother Arun Uthayan, Sai Ram brothers, and welcome to this program, His Story Through the Eyes of His Boys. Let me have the pleasure of saying few words of introduction for both of you. Brother P. Keshavan and Arunodayan actually both came to Bhagwan in 1979 as a student. Their journey had obviously started much earlier with Bhagwan, and they joined in PUC, what they call the pre-university, the pre-college days, and went on to do their masters. So Keshwan finished his master's degree from Prashantinilayam. And presently, Brother Keshwan is based in Toronto, Canada. He's a compliance officer at a leading Canadian bank. It's our pleasure to welcome you, Brother Keshwan.
Saram. Thank you.
And Brother Arunodayan, we call him Arunodayan lovingly. His official name is Arun Uthayan. He also comes from Toronto. He is a director, enterprise risk at one of the leading banks in Canada. He also had his studies from 1979 up to 1986. He did his same thing from master's to his master's in commerce in Prashantinilayam. Both of them had a kind of a common journey with variety of learnings. So welcome, Brother Arun, to join us, and thank you both.
Saram.
I really feel grateful for you. Both of you are joining us from Toronto, and it's a pleasure to hear your story. So let me start with Brother Keshavan. So, Brother Keshwan, please share with us, how did your journey with Bhagwan started? How did Bhagwan introduce himself to your family and you?
Definitely. Uh, Before joining the university, I would narrate how I came to know about Swami.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So at the age of 8, my uh, my mom's sister, who's she's the one who introduced us to Swami, myself and for my mom. She told us there's an avatar in India and let's make a trip. Financially, we were not that strong because I lost my father at the age of 6, and so the breadwinner is my mom. So 4 of us So she has to treat all four of us equally and all the stuff. So my mother's sister, she's the one who shared, helped us with finance and all for the travel. So we made the journey in 1969 to Puttaparthi. That time, no ashram, nothing at all. Journey was, it's a long, tiresome journey. Only Karnataka, the the bus, the the public transportation. That's the only one mode of transportation. You could reach Puttaparthi, and there were vehicles, but we didn't have enough money to take the taxi or anything. So we traveled in the ordinary bus, and we got into the village, Puttaparthi. As soon as you landed, you could feel it. I felt the shriness and the power of vibration kind of thing. So we got in to Parthi and we stayed there in public shed. There's no accommodation, special accommodation for the foreigners that time. So everybody has
That
to,
was which year? There was 69.
yeah, 69.
So
So,
69 must be nothing there. It must be a very small shed area, and you
yes,
had the East Prashante a little bit. And
and Purna Chandra Auditorium, that was a public shed kind of thing. That's where the Purna Chandra Auditorium was located. Then
okay,
there's a well where Kumar used to sit, that corner well, all those stuff, where Sai Gita will take bath, and then Sai Gita was, that time it was very small, little, get every day Swami's blessings, fruits. Swami would feed their Sai Gita with all the fruits and all those stuff. Quite a bit of time Swami spent most of the days after darshan, with the Sai Gita. Uh, so yeah, number three. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
yeah,
Two.
this area.
Yeah.
It was actually older, so you have come a little bit later. 16.
Yes.
This is around 1550s. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so that time, it's easy to approach Swami and get an interview. So, so my mom initiated, you better ask Swami for an interview. So we got interview. Uh, Usually, once Swami calls for an interview, you get prasadam and all those stuff. That time, vibhuti, prasadam. So Swami blessed me, and he said, "You'll do better." So my mom was complaining he was naughty, he doesn't listen, kind of thing. Swami that time itself knew it. He's going to come here. I'll discipline him, kind of thing. So now he patted me on the head and he said, "He'll be okay. Everything should be fine." Then my journey started as a student to Parthi in 1979. First
So
visit,
basically, your aunt told your mother, and you were brought into Puttaparthi.
yes, that's how I was introduced to Swami.
So I feel your mother was really ready to get God,
Yes,
and just an excuse was required for her to come in.
yeah,
Really.
yeah,
So let's bring in Aruna also,
yeah,
and then we'll hear his part, and then we'll take the journey forward. Yes, brother Aruno.
Okay,
So
Sairam.
how did you, Sairam? How did you all get introduced to Bhagwan?
So I offer myself at Swami's feet and I try to narrate what has happened. In 1968, we really got introduced to Swami. At that time, my mother had been ill for a couple of years with the stomach ailment. We could not find the cause. I mean, I was very small. We are three brothers. So I'm the middle one. I was around 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old that time. My mother was ill with something, and she was becoming weaker and weaker day by day. She was suffering of a lot of pain. Many specialist surgeons were consulted, but no one could diagnose. During this time, my father was really stressed because he had three young children. We were from a low middle class family. We were a nuclear family living in a large city, no other help. So it was a very trying time for my father. One day when he was walking along a street with my older brother, it was in 1968. He was 7 years old that time. They were passing a hall, from where there was music coming. And he tugged at my father's hand and said he wanted to go there. And my father really didn't want, he didn't know what that place was, what was going on. But he insisted, and so my father obliged. And they entered that hall and went inside and saw a photograph in front of which people were sitting and singing.
So
So
Arif is your elder brother.
my
He
elder
pulled
brother's Arivadithan, yes.
Arivadithan. Okay.
So they sat down. My brother wanted to sit, so my father also sat down, and that was the first time they listened to bhajan. And my father, who was really stressed, worried, and didn't know what future held for him, within a few minutes, he felt a calm descending on him, and he was at peace. He just couldn't explain what it was. He didn't know Swami by name that time. So they sat through the bhajan, and then later on, my father tried to find out what was this place and who this person was, and so on. But they realized that the bhajans were held every Sunday, and thereafter they started attending the bhajans because my father felt, it was doing something to him, and he came to get a book of Satyam Swaram Sundaram, which he read. And my mother, during one of her, hospital stay, my father gave her the book and said, "Read it and see. It seems very interesting." So she read it, and by then, they had almost given up hope. My mother felt, because she was almost bedridden by then, and she was suffering from severe pain. So one day she told my father, "Look here, I don't know whether I will survive. I don't know how many days I will live. But we have come to know that there is a divine being on this earth. I had to go and at least see before I die."
So
So that
sweet.
is how the trip started. And my mother said, "I don't want you to take me alone. I want to take the children also. If, for example, if I die there, I want them to be around me." So that was her request. So that is how our trip started in 1968. Anyway, the picture is 1985, all five of us. So
Yes.
in so so we made a trip in 1969, coincidentally the same year which Keshavan reached Patti, though I didn't know him or his family until 79. So in 69 we went. Swami was gracious enough to grant her accommodation in one of the rooms in South Prashanti. We stayed there for a few days, and my Swami gave us an interview. In that interview, Swami materialized Vibhuti twice for my mother and said, "Don't worry, your doctors don't know what's wrong with you. They think something is wrong with the gallbladder, but don't worry about anything. I will take care." And my father, he rubbed his stomach at that time and said, "You are suffering from chronic gastritis." Because I think the stress was taking a toll on him, and he rubbed and said, "Don't worry, that will go away." And my younger brother also had knocked knees at that time. Swami patted his knees and said he will be fine. And Swami talked to us and he said, "Don't worry about it. I will take care of you. That's all." And then before parting, my father, Swami asked my father a question: "Are these all your sons?" And my father said, "Yes, Swami." And that was it. That name, that question remained. Why is Swami asking this question? I think any father would, especially when Swami asks, are they your sons? So my father, had this question. Why is Swami asking this question? But later on, he realized that because he wanted him to realize that they are not his, but his Swami's, I guess. And that is how we joined. So that is how we came into Swami's fold. And from there, our life with Swami, that's about 51 years ago. Yes.
It's a very beautiful thing because Sri Lanka, I know many great devotees I have interacted with from Sri Lanka, and it is nice to hear the perspective. How influence, how he spreads his love and message to across every continent. So it's nice to see that you all got attracted in different ways. So did you know each other before coming or no?
Yeah.
Uh, no, in
But you were
1979, before the admission, I saw him.
Yeah.
After that is how I came to know Keshavan. Yes.
Yeah, only difference between myself and Arno is where they know Swami what is expected because his elder brother was in Whitefield. So Arno knows the dress code and they were wearing white on white. Only myself, Ashokanand and Tripuan and all those guys. City Life, jeans, corduroy, and t-shirt or something. Those are the clothes we were wearing when we first picked.
Yeah, we had brother Ashok on the show, and he also expressed the same thing. So
Yeah,
they were not conscious, so they were wearing, even they wore to darshan, they wore jeans
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. That's what.
Till Swami gave them the dresses. It's nice.
Yeah.
So that's how you both started journey. So how did you all decide to become the students? Keshwan, let's start with you again.
Oh, um, because of the communal violence in Sri Lanka, and uh, that's actually motivated. Like that's how my mother made a decision that I should go from the island and study in a peaceful place. Uh, so,
Uh-huh.
so during that period, I am attending bhajans and all those stuff in Sri Lanka, but I had great respect for Swami. I was worshipping as a god kind of thing. So definitely, when my mom asked me, "Do you like to go and join Swami's college in Puttaparthi?" I said yes. Um, During that time, 1979, that's when we I began myself and my mom began the journey to Parthi, because she came along with me, make sure that I get admitted to university,
So
Swami's.
did you have any problem being a foreign student?
Definitely. When I had the admission, then I was denied. Shudos, yeah, Sudarshan said, "Oh, visas and all difficult, so it's difficult for me to admit you to the school," kind of thing. That's the end of it. So I didn't get admitted during the normal process. Then we had to pray to Swami. My mom was writing every day a letter. Swami will take it. Then finally a day came. Okay, we have stayed long enough. Let's go back to Sri Lanka. You're not getting admitted. That's it, because we don't want to waste like the time. My mom was telling. I was in grade 12 that time, advanced level. It's something similar to PUC second year. So I might lose 2 years, kind of thing. So we were about to leave. That's when Swami said, "Oh, call my mom and myself for an interview," and he said, go and speak to the principal. You have been admitted." Mom was happy. That's I.
So you restarted at 11th again then.
Yes, yes.
So
So
you lost 2 years.
I lost 2 years. I restarted from PUC again because I cannot go to degree because I didn't finish my grade 12 advanced level
12.
in the island
Yeah.
because of the communal violence. So that's how I came to know Arno. Arno started with PUC. Both of us in the same class took
But
both same.
Arno, your brother Arif had already joined in.
Yes, in
So
1978.
let me ask that then why don't you tell me how did he plan to become a student?
See, okay, so from the time Swami gave interview and cured my mother, we have been very, very active in the Sai fold, I should say.
Hmm.
We started Balavikas. So we joined the Balavikas in 1970. And my father was very particular that we should follow whatever Swami says. So, at one point, I think in 1968, one of the discourses Swami in the World Conference, first discourse Swami said, everyone should learn Sanskrit. So my father found a place to learn Sanskrit. So he put us all, enrolled us. So things like that
In Sri
happened
Lanka.
in Sri
In Sri
Lanka.
Lanka.
In Sri Lanka,
Okay.
we found Ramakrishnan was conducting Sanskrit classes, so we joined that. Along with Balavikas, we were learning Sanskrit as well. But we were in the Balavikas program. And also, we kept in touch with, everything which was going on in Prashant and Nilayam. Because in 1970, my father started published a magazine in Sri Lanka. So, because in Tamil, because that was during that time, Sanatana Tharthi in Tamil was not being published. So my father felt, everyone should get to know that Swami, if Avatar has come, everyone should know. So we started. So yeah, that was the first issue. exactly 50 years ago, October 10th, 1970 was the first issue of that magazine. So we were publishing. So we knew most of the things which were going on. At least my father was very much in touch, because of that we knew that the Anandapur College was functional, Brindavan campus was functional, and so on. But the thought that we as foreigners could get in, we were not too sure. Um, but in we made a trip in we made a few trips, but in 1975 when we came for Swami's 50th birthday, because the Balavikas group staged a play in Purnachandra Auditorium for Swami's 50th birthday, which all three of us took part. That time we realized how lucky the students were, and my father decided, no, you guys are somehow going to come and study here. He could never afford it, but the thought was planted in my father's head. And of course, we also were looking forward, because he said, you can go and study. And we were counting days, I think from 1975 to come to Parthi. So all of us wanted to come. So that's all I can say. And in 1978, my father decided my elder brother should join. He came to Brindavan, and he asked Swami, Swami, I want you to grant admission to my son. Then Swami instructed him to talk to the principal. He went and spoke to the principal, and the principal said, come, no problem. So my brother came in 1978 and joined Brindavan in the PUC program in the 78. So I was counting my days. My time was coming in 1979, because I completed my grade 10 in 1978. I was counting days, because every letter my brother
So
wrote.
your brother Arif was also supposed to be doing his PUC in Sri Lanka. So he lost 1 year while
Well,
coming to
yes, yes,
Vrindavan.
yes. Keshavan is actually 3 years older, but he joined me. My brother gave up 1 year in Sri Lanka and then joined in 78. And he used to write letters home about his life there, and couldn't wait to go. So that was my situation. And in 1979, because I knew my parents were financially strapped, and they can't, send us, buy the flight tickets each time. So it was tax. But every 1979, I remember, going and asking my mother regularly, when are we going? When are we going? And she was perturbed, because my father was out of the country at that time on some errand, but we were not financially well off to even buy the ticket at that time. And my mother said, wait, let father come, I will buy. Then I was saying, if I go late, I may not get admission. That was the situation. But then
But I
Swami
think,
made things
Arno,
happen.
there is a story of
Yes,
yours, right? The person who
yeah. So
sponsored your ticket.
yeah.
Make
So
it
I will.
short and tell us that story.
Okay.
Yes.
So because my father published the Satyasai Amritam for a couple of years between 78 and 68, 69, 70 and 72. Then it ceased production, because Swami gave the instruction that Sanatana Sarthi should be the only form, and Tamil Sanatana Sarthi will be published. So this magazine was wound up. But in 1975, a little later, one day somebody knocked our door and introduced himself. He's from a very affluent side of the city, who had lost his daughter to cancer, out of cancer, who suffered from cancer and died. And that daughter, who was 10 years old, became very devoted to Swami. So this person was not given to any much affection for Swami, but because the daughter was devout, and she passed away. Apparently, he had a desire, because this girl was, Swami's devotee. Maybe from someone from Sai organization should, produce a memorial, issue, or, some booklet. And he was thinking he should go to Swami and ask maybe Kasturi or someone from Sanatana Sarthi publications to do it, because then he would be satisfied that Swami recognized her daughter's devotion.
Hmm.
And apparently he had a dream once, and Swami appeared, and he said, Swami, I want your editor, Professor Kasturi, to publish this book for me. Swami apparently said, no, don't worry. I have an editor in Sri Lanka. You talk to him. His name is Tirunavakarasu. And he didn't know who this Tirunavakarasu, because he was not very active in the Sai organization.
Can
So
you say the name slowly so that everybody can get it?
my father's name is Tirunavakarasu. And this
Thirunavukarsu.
person,
Okay.
Tirunavukarasu, it's a very common Tamil name, I guess. But the person in whose dream Swami appeared, his name is Nesaratnam, aka Nesaratnam. So he was looking, asking people, and somebody directed him to our house, and that's how he came home. And so my father published, and that ended. So in
So it's very
1979,
sweet, eh? So Swami introduced him in dream, your dad, saying that he's my publisher. Go and give him, and he will publish it for you.
so that
So that
happened in
magazine
76 or
got
76 or so, and that was done. In
done. Okay.
1979, when I was pestering my mother, she didn't know what to do because she knew I was eager, and I was thinking that I may not got go, I may not get admission. We don't worry about financial difficulties at that age, you see. And one day I got a call. Somebody called and says, so I answered the phone, and Mr. Nesaran was on the other line. He said, I don't know. I said, yes, uncle. He said, come and see me. So I told my mother, he has asked me to come and see. He said, okay, go and see him. So I went to his office. He asked me to sit down in front of him, and he told me, look here, I have been having this wish that I want to educate someone in the name of my daughter. And suddenly this thought has come to me that I will support, that you are planning to go, I hear, to Parthi, and I will support you in some way. Please accept, because as in my daughter's name. I said, uncle, I don't know what to say. He said, don't worry about it. And he gave me an envelope. And he said, there's enough money at least to buy the ticket and for some initial expenses for you. I said, thank you very much. And I came home and told my mother. So my mother said, okay, now we have the money, let's go and get the ticket. So that's how we bought the ticket and came to Parthi. So,
So that is how Swami arranges.
I think Swami, see, the thing is, I don't, what I realize is, all of us are looked after by the Lord. But his purpose of taking an avatar and coming is to tell us, all of you think only you are making, money, you are earning. Actually, the source is only me. But to demonstrate that, he creates these situations, and to know that, so that we can directly relate the money coming from him, so that we will never forget that the Lord is the one who is looking after. I think that's his blessing. It's not only the money, to learn the lesson. Wherever you are, whatever you get, is only coming from him, only to demonstrate that the Lord takes avatar, I think. And so that was a very sweet of thing. And when we came to Parthi, my brother had already asked Swami in early 1979 that I was interested. Swami told, let him come. So my mother and myself went, and Swami gave us interview before college started, in which he said, told my mother, your visa is expiring, so you leave him here. I will give him admission. So that is how I joined the college. Waited for a little. At that time, no one even knew there were no buildings. If we went to the administrative office and asked Mandir administration office, if we go and ask, they say, we don't know where the classes are going to be held, where the college is, but we heard that Swami is starting one. So that was the situation. And one
Keshwan,
day
it must be really tough, eh?
Yeah.
If you think about it, that you land in a foreign place
Yeah.
and there is no mark of a college there. There is no, like, nothing is started.
Yes.
And when they start, they tell you that you didn't get admission because you're a foreign student. So it must be really frustrating at that time, right?
Yes, definitely.
Or did you all take it very easy? How was your?
Uh, I didn't take it easy because we spent so much money and came and expense everything. That's my thought, because for my mom it's so difficult financially. We thought, okay, lost it. Swami doesn't want, maybe, kind of thing. That was the thought. We were about to pack. That's when Swami called us for an interview, and he said, "You admitted." That's it. Once Swami says admitted, everything is fine. Then he made sure that I get my visas and all in order. So he made arrangement through, because Anandapur collectors, they come to this thing. Whenever we had issues with, when we are studying in Parthe, Each year it's a collector, and he'll tell the warden or tell all these Sri Lankan boys to go and meet the collector and get the visas, kind of thing extended. So each year we'll make a trip with.
You can keep the microphone closer to your mouth. Yeah.
Sorry. So
So
all
you had some students already, like your brother was there. There were some more students from Sri Lanka already there in system, right?
So the see
like
in Brindavan, actually, we were the we joined Bharti first time, So in Brindavan, there were already, including my older brother, there were three students who had already were studying at that time.
Okay,
So,
so already system we
the,
had
the first Sri
Sri
Lankan
Lankan.
student came in 1977. Then there's another student. So 1976.
was it Divakar?
No, 76 it was Murugavel. 77 it was Divakar
Yeah.
Muthukrishna. And then 78 was my brother. And then we
Okay.
joined. And along with my brother, there was another student also who joined. So by when we joined, there were four students in Brindavan campus. So actually, that's right. Then when
And
we
you had
joined,
sisters also. We know our sisters from Sri Lanka also
so
were there.
so at that time there was only one student who was studying in Anantapur. When we came to join, there was Sister Manorati. She became one of the primary school teachers,
Teachers.
and who is not with us anymore. But she was studying already. When we came to join, there were two of us who joined Puttaparthi. There were two girls who came to join Anantapur. I think Sister Indumati, you may know, she worked in super specialty hospital as a nutritionist. She and another girl came. And in Brindavan, there were three students who came and joined that year. So there were seven of us who
So the
came from.
system had already accepted Sri Lankans.
Yes, yes.
So,
That's
but
right.
I think you had a lot of tough time in getting your visas renewed every year or something like that, right?
Yes.
As long as the university gave us a letter, and
So you're fine
we
with
had to
that.
go through the process. As long as you're
So
studying
Keshav and Aruna, when you came first time and joined as a student, what was your first impression as a student of Bhagwan and hostel? You started off from both of you started from the East Prashanti hostel, right?
That's right. That's right.
So give us an idea about your perspective.
My perspective, because my perspective is I got the great opportunity to just stay with Swami, because I had great respect, and as I said earlier, we were worshiping him as a god. So I had the feeling, because I'm a little matured, 2 years elder to Arno and all those stuff. So I don't know. Maybe the maturity, I don't know. So day one itself, I just high regards for Swami. Like, it's not like a younger kid, matured person how Swami they would worship, but the great opportunity. Love living in East Prashanti, close to Swami's Prashanti Nilayam. I was routinely follow all the routines what they have it for the devotees, which is Nagar Sangeet, Suprabhatam, and name it anything. So we had the great opportunity of sleeping in Mandir, because Swami said boys can come and sleep in Mandir. Then around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, the Gurkha will wake up all of us. Saram, Saram, he'll say, Saram, get up. So everybody has to wrap their bedding, whatever we sleep on it, and come and either you could opt to continue sleep at the hostel, or you could do something else, which I don't sleep once I get up 3:30, because I had to make sure that the washrooms are clean. So that time, most of the boys, less number of washrooms are there in East Prashanti. So, and shower also, I'll take it as soon as I finish my morning duties, kind of thing. Nature call. So I'll have my shower, everything. By the time I finish everything, go to Omkar, sit there, do the Omkar, then Nagar Sangeet, everything.
I think it's a bit divine time to be close to Mandir and spend that year.
Yeah,
But your transition happened basically now 1 year's time, right? I don't know. In 1980, you all went off to the new hostel,
So it's 1.5 years we stayed in
Wonderful.
Parthi. Okay,
Parthi,
East West.
in
Prashantini,
that
yeah,
Mandir,
Mandir,
Prashanti,
Mandir.
yes.
Actually,
Because 19,
we were not very happy to go to the hostel though.
Yes, all of us took close to Swami. That's what it is. Yeah.
because
Because
I
every
believe
day,
yeah.
Mandir grounds, you were sleeping in front of the interview room. When you sleep, when you look up, so I don't know. That was one of the blessed time of 1.5 years. Even though there were lots of inconveniences, there were
Yeah.
60 of us in one room. The allocation of space was only 2 feet by 6 feet for each person. That is where you had to sleep, you had to study, you had to do everything. And there were only three washrooms for 60 students, so three toilets, and so there were lots of inconveniences, but we loved being there.
Yeah.
um, you know
I believe Swami used to come to the old hostel also, right?
Yeah. Suddenly he'll walk in.
so we used
After
to have
lunch.
so it used to be a wonderful thing, because Swami will say, I'm coming for the hostel visit. So you can imagine a dormitory of 60 of us. Our beddings, our beds, everything is in that. Okay. So before Swami was coming, we had to roll them up and clean the place and put them on the side. And that became the hall, and where Swami would come, and we will have an, chair for Swami, and Swami will come. There were music programs, everything happened in that small space. Swami was only about 50 meters away from us, his building, but he still would make a visit, and those were wonderful times.
Excellent. So then you moved to the hostel, our what we call our boys' hostel, senior boys' hostel. How was that
So
transition?
before that, I would also like to tell, when our classes started in Ishwaram High School,
Yeah.
because there were
Yes.
no college buildings. So,
Yeah, we have heard
so
that.
what
Yeah.
happened was, the number of classrooms were capable of only accommodating half the number of classes. So most of our classes were held under the tree. But we used to love. I used to feel we are in a Gurukulam.
Gurukulam. Yeah.
Just the way, uh, we didn't care what we were studying or what we were not studying, but we were just happy to be there. So when Swami built the hostel in 1980, we were not very happy, because it was far, and Swami had to do a lot of convincing that don't worry, you can come every day and all that.
Darshan, yeah.
But it was at least a 15-minute walk.
Yeah, it
So
is. It
we were
is.
not very
Hmm.
happy. Yeah. So, but it was by then the college building also came up.
Yeah.
So
Bhagwan's system of education is that he has a knack of keeping the boys busy.
Yes.
He doesn't allow any second also free time.
Yeah.
And from morning you wake up till you sleep at 10, we are always busy with some things. And there is a lot of work allocation, so to say, which is voluntary most of the time, but what we call self-reliance or that program. So I would like to know, what were you engaged into? What was your favorite, uh, activities which you had volunteered for in the hostel?
Oh, myself, so many chapati rolling and kitchen with what's his name? I forgot. Kumar, right? I don't know. Is it Kumar?
Mahalingam.
Mahalingam. Sorry,
Mahalingam, huh?
So
Mahalingam.
our
Oh,
cook was Mr.
yeah. Oh,
Mahalingam. Yes.
Mahalingam.
Mahalingam.
Swami picked him, so he's the chef for hostel head chef. So he, with his experience, he'll guide us what needs to be cut, how to cut it, how to do the chapati rolling, puri rolling, everything we learn. So myself and Arun also there, and rest of the stuff. Eventually, then after that, I was get got involved with the cage, looking after the animals and all those stuff. Uh,
Let me explain people that what you're telling about cage is actually a small zoo Swami had created, and Bhagwan used to like to keep animals around students,
yeah,
and that is what we had some cages. It was a full cage behind the college,
yeah,
which
the
had a zoo, and then next to the college we had some cages in
that's
which
right.
we had peacock and rabbits and other small
Monkey.
monkeys, monkeys there, right? So you were in charge of the whole area. How many
Yes,
of you were in charge?
myself and initially myself and Shashigiri. Then eventually Narendra Reddy also joined uh, with us. So,
Who
but
joined?
Narendra Reddy.
Acha,
Nar-
Narendra Reddy. Okay.
Narendra Reddy. Actually, myself and Shashigiri Rao is the first person to start. So Swami picked myself and Shashigiri Rao. So normally, whatever the spots we set, myself, Shashigiri Rao, then suddenly one day Swami came about to leave outside. Swami asked, "Where's Shashigiri Rao?" He stood in front of me, "Where's Shashigiri Rao?" And normally after darshan, once Swami goes into the interview and suddenly when Swami comes, that's when it happened. I still remember that. Then Mr. Narsimhamurthy or someone, Nityananda Menon, he was looking for where Shashikri. They went, I don't know, usually they go for chaya after darshan kind of thing, go for a tea or coffee. Actually, that time Swami made an outing, meaning that he went in the car to the administrative block and all those stuff. Actually, Swami, maybe my impression was Swami was looking for both of us so that he could take and introduce to the animals kind of thing. We lost the chance. So then I was telling, where were you kind of thing, kind of thing.
But I
So,
believe there was a story when some animal had, died or taken birth. Something.
yes, the spotted deer, uh, initially when it was introduced to the zoo, we had two pair of spotted deers. So I witnessed the birth too. That's spotted deer. Morning, usually after Omkar, Suprabhadam, once it's finished in the hostel, I usually go to the zoo just to make sure that they get enough food and all those stuff. We had workers to support, so I have to go and open the storage room and provide, make sure that all the food are supplied to the animals. So that's when I witnessed the spotted deer giving birth to the first calf kind of thing. And then we were happy. Then we wrote a letter and we gave to Swami.
Yeah, because it's joy to inform Bhagwan that some new entry has happened. Eh?
What happened? Swami was happy. Swami just picked up the letter. Everything was fine. Next day, it's gone. The calf is gone. It's dead. It's nowhere to seen. So we were shocked. Oh, what happened? We informed Swami. Next day, it's gone. Then we had to write another letter. We wrote a letter and we said it's nowhere to be seen. That's Swami said mongoose or some little animal it has killed. This thing. Go and look under the rocks and all those stuff behind the university. So as usual, after darshan, I went. Uh, Bhajans were going on. That time I just was Swami has told, so I went to the cage, and with the help of the workers, so we were looking. I was looking under the rocks and all the stuff. Everything happened. Then suddenly, usually, all of us know after Bhajan, Swami goes into the interview, and sometimes he goes outside. So that day, what happened after he told us, he just made a decision to go to the administrative block. He went first. He made a visit to the administrative block on the top. Myself and this worker, we were just looking at under the rocks, and suddenly we saw Swami's car was in front of the zoo. Oh boy! I myself and this worker came down from the hill down and just showed. We were about to open the door. Swami said inside the car, "Don't open it. It's okay, fine." Radha Krishna was driving. Only Swami was behind, sitting in the back chair, and he looked at it. He stayed there a good 5 minutes. Because though I get an opportunity, I felt the worker should get opportunity. I told just go close to Swami, like close to the car, and just have his darshan kind of thing. Because those guys sincerely work, they don't get opportunity to see Swami. Swami spent quite a bit of time there, and then that's when these two guys from nowhere, Shashi Rao and Narendra Reddy, came running to the car and did namaskar and all those stuff. Swami happy. Then he reversed the car. Radha Krishna, they went back to the hospital. That was quite a bit of
But
it.
you didn't find the calf. You didn't find the calf.
No, I looked at it all. I turned all the rocks and this thing myself and that worker. We couldn't find it. And and also he said, make sure that all the fence are blocked. Put stones and all those stuff. Maybe it could have come from the outside too. Never know. So we made sure that after that, nothing happened. All the cops and everything routine normal. life was
How
going.
many, what kind of animals we had in our zoo?
We had Nilagiris, Nilagiris, then we had spotted deers, rabbits, peacock, and guinea pigs. Um, we had monkey, red bum monkey. So that's one we had problem too. Once it just came out of the cage, and we had quite a bit of issues. Uh, those
These
are
Nilgiris are not easy to maintain, right? And Swami would see them feeding them and all that very comfortably.
yes, yes. They will be eager to see Swami when Swami comes to the cage. Oh, it's an amazing scene to see.
I think it's a very beautiful sight to watch Swami, interact with the animals there.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know, what was your pastime? What was your engagement?
And so, I think most of the other students who have come would have talked about, our there are students who work in Gokulam and so on. So mine was mainly in the kitchen, and some maintenance work also I was part of. But I think one of the different ones, I think a unique one was sometime in '84 when I suddenly got an idea, because what was happening was there were lots of young students who were in a growing age, adult. So many of their pants and clothes were becoming shorter or tighter, and they would play in the school grounds, and they tear their clothes. And some of them didn't have the money to go and get it repaired because you had to go to the village, get the tailor. And sometimes I see them walking around in these ill-fitting clothes or torn clothes in the hostel. Then one day a stray thought came to me. I know a little bit of stitching because I have used to help my mother, and maybe I will start stitching seva. Mend the clothes for the students. That thought came. So I shared it with one of my roommate, and we went to the warden and said, sir, this seems to be a good seva opportunity, and we would like to do it. Can we have your permission? He said, how are you going to do it? We said, we just have the idea. That's all. We'll figure out how we get the sewing machine and so on. He said, okay, leave it with me. I will think about it. Maybe I will check with Swami, and then you all can start. We said, okay, Swami, sir. And then later that day, the warden came back and I told Swami. Swami is very happy. He said, you don't have to buy the sewing machine. I am sending the sewing machine. So Swami sent the sewing machine. And fortunately for us, a couple of days later, Swami made a visit to the hostel. So we got an opportunity to ask Swami to inaugurate that sewing machine. Um, so, see, the thing is, once we have an idea to do some service, the means are given by him, the encouragement is given by him, the joy is given by him. That's all I can say. So for
But it's
two
so
years,
sweet that Swami comes, not only he gives you the thought, he even comes to inaugurate it. It's such a,
yes,
he makes it look so important now.
yeah. So, because even though it was a small service, and I think that is how we started. We used to work day in, and for the first few months we used to work like 6 7 hours just stitching and mending clothes. After that, things were on an even keel. But that is how we started what's called a stitching corner. So I thought that was something different
6 hours.
from
I don't know, how could you spend 6 hours? Was it a like weekly 6 hours, or no, how did you divide it?
daily.
How could you
Daily.
stitch 6 hours in a day?
See, the thing is, in the night or
So when did
after
you sleep?
we will sleep at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., no problem. Because that was the only time available because we will go for darshan. See,
Yeah.
especially when Swami was around, our day was fully packed, from morning Suprabhatam till evening dinner and study hours,
Study hours,
fully
everything.
packed. So it
Yeah.
was only after that we can do this. And there were 700, 600, 700 students. We had at least 200, 300 students wanting something done. So the demand was very high initially because everyone had a backlog of stuff to mend. So
Get it fixed.
we rationed one per day, only one cloth per day for one person. That's how we started. So it was wonderful. It was something small which we could offer to Swami, and the Swami was always
You are actually
encouraging.
prompting me to ask you another question, and which has been discussed even in different scenarios. Like, you had to study because Swami was uncompromising as far as the results were concerned, and at the same time you had so many other activities going on. You had kitchen practice, and you had music room and all. There are so many things which are happening at the same time, and now you are giving me that you spend 5 to 6 hours every night mending the clothes of the students. Did it not impact your studies?
See, Abhi, the whole problem starts when we say I had to study. Okay.
So
See, maybe I will rewind back. I hope you don't mind. See, when I started school in 1969, I had learning difficulties. I just couldn't understand. I had problem adding one plus one. I still remember my mother trying to explain to me what is addition. It until the grade two or grade three, I was failing actually. I just couldn't read like other children. So my mother struggled with me a lot, and she said, "Okay, you I can't teach the way normal children can be taught. So the only way you are going to learn is for you to learn the Ashtotra Satanamavali Swamis. Every day you have to chant it along with me, morning and evening. Only then you get food." And that is how I started. And then she gave me another assignment. We were because my father was publishing magazines. He gave me job to proofread because okay, you can't read, but at least you can match letters. So if you see A here and A there, B here or B there, so tick. So that is how my learning started. I remember reading Prashanti Vahini as a kid.
I know your headphones have I think battery, so you can use the corded one.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but can you use the corded? That will be safer. Anyways, you can speak, no
Yeah,
problem.
can you hear me now? You
Yeah,
can hear me now. Okay, sorry. No
yeah.
problem. So what happened was, so at the end of the 2 years, without my knowledge, I could understand anything and everything. Okay. Then at such a young age, I realized even if you don't study, you pray to Swami, everything will be fine. You will understand the subject as you would never understand. No, I'm not joking because in many times in my life, Swami has proven that. When we joined plus two, because our funds were not good, I never owned a textbook. In our first year, second year, there were no libraries also. Okay, we didn't have a library. But the thing is, I didn't own a single textbook in the first 2 years. The way I used to study was, I will wait for others to finish studying, and then I used to get up and borrow their book and study. But Swami sometimes wants us to go through challenges in life so that we can face challenges. And I would say during my master's degree, how Swami, there was a surgical operations research. I think Keshavan will know. I don't know how I understood because one lecturer used to teach. Somehow I used to understand. I don't know why. I didn't have mathematics background even, but I used to understand. That was in my master's. And then the first class test, everyone almost failed, except myself and I think Keshav and Meha. So it so happened, I was to, coach students in that particular
Uh, Aruna, we
I
lost
don't
it.
know. We are losing you. I think you wear the corded one. That will be safer.
Yeah.
No, I
Just
think there was some call came, Abhi. Don't worry about it.
Okay, okay, okay.
just to
Okay,
add
so
just to add to that, Aruna's this thing. Uh, just imagine, both of us came from a different medium in the sense the language. We were
Tamil
educated
medium.
in Tamil medium. So the first challenge is when we started as PUC in English, everything is in English. So at the beginning, not Aruna, I put more hours just to get in terms with this thing. So my routine in East Prashanti was morning Suprabhatam, Nagar Sangeet, and everything. I have a one spot next to the medical this thing. Karnakaran has to have a medical like wardens and all those people we would sleep. That's the spot I like. I'll sit there and study before we I go to breakfast and all those stuff. But these Arno and all those other guys, they don't spend.
I know I'm recalling Arev's story. Arev also consciously used to fail, right? to come to Swami. What was his storyline? If you can just quickly share with that.
I think Arif is in the best position, but I will just that you brought it up. See, Arif did his plus one in the PUC first year. See, he had already done one in Sri Lanka. Then he did one in Brindavan, and then in 1979, when Swami started Bharti College, he felt Swami is going to spend more time there, so he wanted to come and study in Puttaparthi.
In
So,
Parthi.
so he pestered Swami so much. And then Swami asked him, okay, come, let him come. And then Swami even told him, aren't you ashamed that you're going to sit in your brother's class and study? He said, no, Swami, I will stay. He wanted to prolong his stay as much as possible. Because sometimes, when students fail and they have to repeat, Swami used to allow them to stay in the old hostel, and they don't have to attend classes. They can have darshan, bhajan. So there were students who were like that, and Arif was also similar like them. But I don't think he intended to fail. But it so happened because he used to only attempt for the minimum number of marks and very confident that he will pass and leave. Like if an exam is 40 marks for passing marks, he will attempt 40 or 45 and then leave, thinking that anyway he has passed. But it so happened that he failed once, and so he had to stay back. And he was very happy. He got lots of opportunity with Swami Sai. So the thing is, many of us actually we didn't care what degree we pursued. As long as we can stay with Swami, that only mattered. I think that's Swami's grace, to give us that kind of thinking. That's all I can say.
I don't know, Keshwan, when I look at Puttaparthi I always think that, Swami, not only his physical presence, obviously that is unmatched, and we have nothing, we can talk about it, as much as we say, it will be still less. But the environment he created for the development of children and the staff, especially the teachers that he selected, were amazing from that perspective. What is your experience when you look at that, the environment and the staff and teachers there? Any favorable memories?
Only thing, one thing I could add is, especially Arno had Sanskrit, he studied. I had difficulties because in Sanskrit, uh, most of the teachers are they will, after the class, they will support me and bringing to par with the other students kind of thing. So they would spend their extra time after darshan. I would go and clear my doubts and sit with them, learn on my own. So they were excellent faculty. They are ready to help always students to excel in their studies academically. So that's what I got in PUC when I started my Sanskrit lessons. And of course, the boys also would support, but as a teacher, it doesn't come as a teacher how to prepare for the exams kind of thing. So
Yeah, our seniors also are very, very helpful that way.
yes, always everybody help
So I
each
know
other.
your input.
Yeah, see, most of the first year there were many teachers who came. So we had some alumni from Brindavan who became the teachers who stayed
Your
with
teachers
us.
first. Yes,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
so the relationship with them was, even though they were teachers, it was more like older siblings.
Elder brother.
Okay, so and the camaraderie, the bond which we had is
Camaraderie,
very,
yes, yeah.
very, very. It is not like they were not doing a job because they were paid to do. Okay, they were doing because Swami's, students, they are like younger brothers. do everything. So I think the attitude with which we approached both students and teachers is different. And even some of the teachers who came from outside, they were exuding devotion. They would do anything for Swami. They would lay down their life for Swami. That type of teachers. And I still remember there was one lecturer. His younger brother actually studied. He was teaching English. His name was Kaushal, and he was teaching English. The older brother, great devotee of Swami. And in one class, he pulled up a student. He scolded him so much. And that day evening, Swami told him, you can't scold my children like that. He told this teacher, and after that you should see the way the teacher behaved. So even though the teachers came there, they also many of them came there thinking that they will learn from Swami to lead a better life, to become a better human being. So that helped so much. That kind of self-improvement goal which the teachers had was simply, I don't think you can find it in many places or anywhere. I would say the extent to which that love poured out from them. That's all I can say.
See, both of you mentioned the struggle with which your parents brought you to Puttaparthi, and especially the financial part of it. And I am sure, Bhagwan has his own ways of not only taking care, but also creating that kind of gratitude in the students towards their parents. When you were in Parthi, did you have any kind of interaction in that manner, which Swami might have really created for you to, not only think about your parents back home, but feel that kind of a gratitude with them?
Yes, definitely. I could recall that once. Normally, whenever we get summer vacation, normally we hesitate to go back to Sri Lanka. We want to spend time with Swami because Swami during summer he might go to Kodaikanal or Vrindavan. Most of the time, whoever stays there get the opportunity to go with Swami, go along with Swami to Vrindavan or Kodaikanal. So always we try for that opportunity. But once Swami decided, no, you're not going to spend time with me, you're going to spend with your parents. So Swami definitely called us, and we were like, before the summer vacation started, he gave everybody namaskar and all those stuff in line inside the mandir. I still remember. Then all of a sudden, Swami had an envelope. He gave me and he said, "You're going back to Sri Lanka. You're spending time with your parents." He gave me money, then gave Arno money. All three Sri Lankans. So all three of us had to leave. So then immediately warden came and said, "No, you can't stay this summer. You have to go because Swami has told us." So we have to leave, take the money, and go back and see our parents. Swami wants to spend some time with parents. So definitely Swami financially just gave the money for the ticket. But that was a great blessing too.
Arno, you had something with a writing letter to mother?
Yes. So, what Keshav is telling, Keshav is talking about is in 1984. Because just a little bit of digression, you should understand. Before that, every summer we stayed in Parthi, and Keshavan and I used to do a lot of. You ask him about seva. We used to repair the chairs in the hostel, the cupboards in the hostel. We used to paint the hostel. We used to do all that. We used to get the hostel ready, the furniture, the building. Keshav and I. So that year, 1984, we thought Swami was telling hostel had to be renovated. We thought, we are the ones who are renovating, so maybe we are not included in the list of going home. And that's when Swami called us for an interview, and Swami, that which Keshavan mentioned. But I will just mention, you're talking about writing letters. In 1982, all three brothers were studying in Parthi. And one day, Swami, after normal darshan and interview, Swami was walking around students and suddenly he told, "Come." And he asked my brother to come, and older brother, and he asked for us the two younger brothers. So all three of us went, and Swami talked to us. Swami, it was a very short interview, but Swami took us inside and asked us, when did you write letter home? When was the last time you wrote a letter home? And we just couldn't remember, because in Parthi we are so busy throughout the day. We don't remember, keep track of these things. But Swami again repeated the question a few times, and then we had to tell something. So we said, Swami, a few weeks ago. Then Swami told us, for 3 months, none of you have written a letter home. And he said, do you know how I know? Because your mother is sitting in front of my picture right now and crying, saying, Swami, I have sent the 3 children, I have sacrificed as much as I can. But they have forgotten me, and you have also forgotten me, because you are not telling them, that they should remember me. Even if they don't do anything for me, at least they should remember. You are not teaching them that. And so your mother is crying in front of my picture. So right now you go out and write letter before you go to the hospital, and mail it and go. You go to the post office, mail it. And hereafter, every Thursday, you have to write a letter home, because you don't know the amount of sacrifice your mother is doing. She has she is sacrificing for food. She has sold all her jewelry. I mean, though Swami was financially also helping us quite a bit, but there were incidental expenses, and Swami, I think, allows us also to do our part. So my parents were doing their part. He said, they have sacrificed so much. And if you don't have gratitude, what's the point in you are staying here? And so from then on, every week we had to write letter home. But Swami taught many things about his omniscience, the prayers which anyone prays anywhere, because she was thousands of miles away in Sri Lanka, in Colombo. But Swami was describing how she was taught. And when we wrote a letter home, that was one of the biggest blessings my mother got, because knowing that the Lord is listening to the prayer, that assurance is always good. But I don't think it is just... See, Swami does some of these things because he wants to send the message to every devotee there. We just becomes, incident, somebody, incidentally it happened to us. But he sends the message to everyone. So that also we learned. So today, also when I pray, I remember that, I recollect that experience. So, and when Keshav was telling in 1984, when we were going home, so when Swami gave the envelopes to us, Swami told, take, go and come. There is some extra money, buy a sari for your mother and take. See, the thing is, Swami could have picked a sari and given to us, give it to your mother. But Swami wanted us to go to the store, look for a sari with the money he gave, and buy a sari and give. I thought, he was trying to... See, Swami is always about teaching us
instilling that value.
Yes, so, even small things he will tell, so whenever I go to a sari shop, I always recollect that, so whoever has done something to us, we should be grateful, and especially parents, we have to be grateful. So Swami, in many different ways, taught these life, lessons for us. Sire.
Swami has, like in a system of the things of development, Bhagwan always helps us to maximize the potential one has. And for that, he has provided us various facility. So I know, Keshavan, you were very much involved with the sports. Yes. You were also part of... We have heard the story of the Hillview Stadium, how it came about and how you all developed it. And I will share some pictures also. But I believe you were part of the sports. Do you have any memories of that time? It will be nice for you to share.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you were part of so many things, and I'll have the pleasure of sharing pictures. So you can tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. When the first intercampus was introduced, the sports meet between the intercampus, as you know, Hillview Stadium, everybody has talked about it. So we invited Swami for the initial inauguration of first intercampus meet. Prior to that, we were trying to level the grounds with using bullock carts, so many things. So in our team, the undergraduate team, all of us chip in money and hire the bullock cart. We were working, trying to level the ground and all those stuff.
I think I can see Srinivas.
Then, yeah, Srinivas is there. Everybody, Narendra Reddy and all those people, everybody chipped in and put a lot of hours trying to level it. Then eventually Swami called Mahadevan, and he got it done, leveled and everything. Uh, the grounds. So Swami, when we invited Swami for the intercampus games, Swami was pretty happy and thrilled. When Swami is there, Swami, every action, you should see Swami how he sits on the chair when trying to pass the ball or kick the ball, the boys, my boys are doing kind of thing. You should see his feelings and emotions and everything. As a human being, he'll react kind of thing. One incident during intercampus also, I just want to mention this. It's something unique. Because after the intercampus inauguration, we used to usually have other games going on, but Swami is in Mandir and all those stuff. But unfortunately, we forgot to keep a chair for Swami. Suddenly, one day, Swami jumped in. One of the games were happening. Swami asked, "Where's the chair?" Oh boy. After that, each and every game, even though Swami is physically not present in the grounds, we keep a chair. Suddenly, you would see the picture. Swami suddenly comes and sits there and watches the game after bhajan or something, after his routine stuff in Mandir. Suddenly, he comes in, or in between routine stuff in Mandir too, he just come in and see the sports meet. So everybody was happy. That's how the first game was started in the Hillview Stadium. That's
Here you have Professor Mahajan,
yes,
Kasturi Garu, and our then registrar, Mr.
right.
Chakravarti.
Yes, yes.
I think they're all enjoying the sports day. I don't know
Yeah,
whether it's a teacher's one or not.
yeah. Look at Swami's face. Swami also watching
So
everything.
curious he is.
Yeah, each and everything. Yeah, this is when one of the games were going on. This is what afterwards we started doing little heart kind of thing. Then we'll keep Swami always. Any games, we would
Actually,
make.
Keshwan, on this year, I also did javelin throw. I got third prize.
Yeah.
There's a cricket match.
Yes, yes, intercampus games. Then after the soccer match, which Swami signed the ball, it should be in the campus. Whatever the ball he assigned, the soccer ball, it's
Yeah,
in the campus. We kept it.
beautiful days.
Yes, beautiful day.
I don't know. You had a very interesting thing about your music journey.
Yeah, so before I start that, I just want to comment. I think a couple of
Yeah, sure.
comments. I don't know whether people, younger generation may not know, but Keshan was the Gavaskar or Tendulkar equivalent at that time in Sri Lanka, in the campus. So I think he has some like records, I guess, in terms of number of runs scored. But the thing, I think what we all learned is it's not that Swami came and blessed us. But what I feel is that each of these things which Swami did, so that we learn that whatever we do, how do we offer to God? Whether you play a game, because that is what Swami was teaching. It was not that you should excel in, a game. Whatever you do, however you do, can you offer it to the Lord? So he was actually teaching that in my understanding, because sports are held everywhere in the world. But it's not the flamboyancy with which you do anything. It is not even the success in that sport. But do you learn the attitude of offering that to the Lord? And so pay attention to that. So I think every small thing which we did in the hostel, that was the lesson for us to take. Anything you do, whether you sweep the floor, whether everything should be done, that Swami may come,
Yes.
that the Lord may appear wherever you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Be ready to accept Him and be part of it. So whatever you do, whether how you dress, how you keep your house, Swami was very particular. However, he will walk into a room once in a while and he will say, "This dirty." He will go into the kitchen and make sure that
Yeah.
everything is washed and kept.
Yes.
So he wanted to make sure that our life should be led in such a way that we are ready to invite the Lord or expect the Lord to come, and also we should offer it to the Lord whenever possible. You see, that was what I learned. Anyway, now I will go to music. See, I became a music student. I was selected as a singer in 1980. But Swami never gave me permission to sing in the mandir. So that always, I would say, B grade singer, or and I was never Swami never gave permission. I wrote a letter once, but anyway, I will not dwell on that. But the thing is, but what in that first time when I gave a letter to asking Swami that I want to sing, so that I will have the satisfaction that you will listen. Okay, that was my prayer. The next day, that day, during the moral class, Dr. Goka came and spoke about the importance of bhajan as a form of sadhana. And the last sentence which he said, I still remember after so many years, is that, some students think that Swami listens to them singing only when they're leading bhajans. But everyone should know that even if you're following bhajan singing, you should understand that Swami is listening to each one of you individually. Okay, so you don't have to lead the bhajan. So this was the message given. So after that, I never asked Swami, but I made it a point to practice singing. For the 7 years I was there, every day morning I used to spend at least 1 hour practicing singing.
Because so you learned harmonium and you never sang in mandir.
Because I used to practice singing, not because I want to get an opportunity to lead bhajans. Because I was always of the feeling, even when I'm giving chorus, I should give good chorus. So because of that, I should train the voice. So that was my attitude. But in 1984, all this philosophy didn't really help me, because I thought, Swami, still I am unable to do something musically in front of you. Okay, philosophically I understand, but I need to have this satisfaction, was the thought which had. So in 1984,
I know you have also been blessed to compose some songs. So why don't you sing 2 lines of any of your bhajans?
So you want me to finish the story? I will finish the story quickly.
Okay.
So in 1984, Pandit Ravi Shankar had come and performed, and I was watching it from the audience, and I suddenly thought that there's no student who is playing sitar at the moment. If only I knew sitar, maybe I will be part of it. But the problem is, I don't know Hindustani music. I didn't have any music training. I have never seen sitar at close quarters. I don't know how it even looks. But I had this desire. A couple of days later, I found a book in the library where it was autobiography of Ravi Shankar, where at the end he has given teach yourself sitar lessons. So I said, oh my God, I got this. But now I don't have a sitar. I can never afford to buy a sitar. Then I said, Swami, you have given me the lessons and you have given me the yearning, but no sitar. That time I was a music room key holder, because I was a servant of the music room. So I used to clean the music room, dust the music instruments, carry the music instruments for the others who played, clean them, tidy them, repair. All that I was doing as a dasa of the musicians, who were singing to the Lord. In some way I wanted to be of service. So one day morning I go and open the door to light the lamp. I see next to the altar a sitar. No one who frequents the music room knew how the sitar had come. Okay, who brought it? I was very happy. Since that day, I started practicing early in the morning, every day. And after 6 months, somebody found me playing, and they said, "Oh, you are playing okay." And I was inducted into the music group. So I learned, I played sitar, got the opportunity to play sitar for some other programs, including Swami's 60th birthday program. I was not a great musician. I was not proficient. There were people like Durjati and all who were like giants, and I was a pygmy.
I think we had a couple of experiences like that. C.G. Sai Prakash is another brother, younger to us, who also learned just like that. He picked it up and Swami said, play, and he started playing. You also, fantastic.
Swami didn't tell, he just...
gave you.
Never, even publicly, directly, he never acknowledged me as a sitar player. But I got to play. He supplied the sitar. See, when we have a thought to offer to the Lord, He will give the means. He will give the yearning. He will give everything. That's all I learned. And even even bhajan, you were saying I'm composing bhajan. I don't compose bhajans, but some bhajan started, suddenly hitting me out.
Let's hear 2 lines.
I'll just Premamayam Satya
సాయిమయం ప్రేమమయం సత్య సాయిమయం జగత్ సర్వం బ్రహ్మమయం అమృతమయం ఆనందమయం సకలైశ్వర్య ధనధాన్యమయం శ్రీమయం చిన్మయం జ్యోతిర్మయం పరిపూర్ణలయం ప్రేమమయం సత్య సాయిమయం. Abhi, I can't say I composed because this bhajan with the lyrics, the tune, all this just came within a span of 2 minutes. As I was
That's
walking,
how.
see, I don't know what raga, nothing, but the bhajan came on its own. That's all I can say. It was as if somebody was singing and I was singing along. That's the
So
feeling. That's all.
did you have any formal training in Puttaparthi?
No, of course, the students, we, they say, if you are, by, just being by the sandalwood tree, all the trees start smelling like little sandal, sandalwood smell will come. So we were immersed, and that's how, you pick up tidbits here and there. And some of the students were willing to, teach a few things. Like I learned some from someone called Krishnamurti on harmonium. Brother Sunam also has, polished me up here and there. Not that, I'm very polished, but, it was so bad that they thought this guy is so eager, let's help him out a little bit so that whatever he does is a bit more bearable. But, students were willing to help out in many ways, and I learned here and there, but no formal training at all.
But it's a beautiful bhajan. It's a very nice composition come out. Okay, let me take you to another topic. You remember the first time service projects officially, I would not say first time, but an official service project from a student's perspective happened. I think it was in 1985 or something, 86, when Swami got us
Kaki.
khaki dresses stitched.
Yes.
So I think you were our seniors at that time, and you people were involved with many things. So if you could highlight certain important aspects of that, so that we can, some people can pick up the elements of service and what all happened in those times. Keshwan, you can start.
Yeah, definitely. So you're aware of the khaki dress which Swami stitched for the special project, it's called Village Adaptation Project. So before we got into the field, we will gather data just to make sure that what are the things we need to do to certain villages, kind of thing.
So how did you collect data? What was the process?
We had a buddy system kind of thing. Two of us would visit each, like we paired into twos, and we go to different villages and we gather information with the elders, sitting with the elders and talking to them. What are the things they are lacking, or what things they would like to have it in the village, kind of thing. So we would gather the data and we would come, we group together and we would discuss with the leaders. Certain lecturers were in charge too, so we would discuss. Then that information is passed on to Swami, kind of thing. Then Swami would guide us what are the things we should do.
So did you gather information about the number of people in each house and all that?
Yes.
Age?
So we had a survey questionnaire, Abhimanyu, which covered lots of details about all this. So it was very comprehensive. The village, the number of people, number of homes, number of people living, the age groups, water facilities, transportation, the roads.
I believe disease also.
Yeah. So the
kind of issues they have there. And animals?
The drainage.
Drainage was the main thing. Swami was very particular when hygiene, health is wealth, kind of thing. So villages, they are not too clean or hygiene, kind of thing. They will live in a little hut, kind of thing. Swami was very particular about that. But the
So,
most
how many villages were identified?
So this was actually done during the 60th birthday mainly. See, that was the formal survey we did. So
60.
the
Okay.
60 villages were adapted.
Mhm.
So different teams went to different villages and collected information, and that is how the service project was initiated.
And of course, Swami is thrilled. Swami, in order to start this project, Swami we had a special bus. That's every day before we go to the project. Still, I remember Swami will come outside the mandir, wave the boys, kind of thing.
He used
Uh,
to give us fruits.
Fruits after
From,
we come from the project, or we come and stand with the khaki dirty pants in the mandir. Swami will come and give fruits and all those stuff. Those memories, it's wonderful. Uh,
So when we
I
say
think he used to
when we
fill up the bus with food items also, no? That time.
so when we say dirty, sometimes we used to clean even the sewer systems with bare hands. There were times. So the stains on the khaki clothes were very bad sometimes. But even with that, we will come and Swami was there.
Swami.
But the thing is, when we are talking about survey, I thought I will just mention something. It is Swami, with one shot, he will teach us many things. It is not only how you operate, run a project, but he also wanted us to get to know the villages, what it is to live in a village, and even some good qualities from these villages. I vividly remember once myself and Ruchir were paired up to go to one village. It was very, very hot because they have always the pairs were such that one person knew Telugu, at least speak, and the other person becomes a scribe. So myself and Ruchir were paired. We went to a village. It was a very poor village. It's 5 or 6 houses. They didn't have anything, nothing. And we went to the headman's house, and the headman had 2 3 children. They were not even wearing clothes, the children. They were running around naked, and they didn't have any furniture, nothing. And they looked at us because it was a very hot day. We had trekked up quite a few miles that day, or kilometers, and we were very tired. And I think the person noticed, and he told something to his wife, and she went, and she was searching through pots and pans, and then she brought 2 cups of water, sugar syrup. And they told, please drink this because it's very hot. You will faint, have a sunstroke or something if you don't have something nourishing. They gave us. What I realized is, I asked, where do you, they buy sugar, once a year. And this is like a precious commodity, it's like the gold for them, so treasure. They keep it only for very rare occasions. But they were willing to give that to us that day. That touched me. They were offering the best they had, even though they don't have anything. To us who were well dressed, we had eaten and come. That never leaves me. So Swami also wanted us to learn the greatness and the goodness of people in the villages, how self-sacrificing they are. And I don't think even after so many years I have grown. I'm not even worth their dust on their feet is what I would say, because that much of self-sacrifice in villages, even though they don't have anything. So there are things like that also, life lessons also we learned by going to those villages, doing service, doing survey, and so on. Saya.
See, I don't know, in this whole journey, when you look at it, like Swami uses every occasion to teach us a great lessons of life, and I'm sure all of us agree with that. He can take any situation and do that. But let me ask you, because I keep asking this question to everybody, to understand, uh, when you joined, as Keshwan was telling, that we accepted Swami as God. But the concept of God, the way we understand God at that age, evolves. I won't say changes, but evolves over the year. How has that concept of God evolved with you over the years? And what is today that for you? I'm opening to both of you. You can jump in.
Jump in, definitely. I would jump in and I would share some of those experience which I had with Swami as a
Sure.
God kind of thing. So when we joined the first year, this I should have mentioned it in the beginning, but I didn't get an opportunity to mention this. So I thought I'll share it now. So what happened once we joined, after the visa problem, everything happened. Only time Swami talked when we first time I came to the portico. Then Swami asked, "What's your name?" That's it, Keshavan. He didn't ask where you're from and all. Some other boys he was asking. That's it. That's the first conversation I had with Swami. But from day one, I knew it from the other students, the senior students. Swami prefer a individual to sit in one spot in the Zen month. There you have specific spot. Somehow you manage to get there and just it's not reserved anything. Sometimes someone might occupy it, but somehow one of the spot I usually sit, which is where Divakar and other people who serve Swami would come just before Swami come out for darshan, which is next to the first pillar where birthday boys used to sit.
Okay,
Right
right in front of the door which opens, interview
Yes.
door,
Yes,
the first pillar. Okay,
that
behind that pillar.
behind that pillar, that's my spot.
Okay.
Always I sit there. So just keep in mind when we went to all hostel, that's the first talk. After that, Swami never spoke to me anytime. But somehow, whenever he come for darshan, every day, like day one, he will come close to behind that pillar and he'll stand there and he'll either he adjust his hair, look at the devotees, but definitely he'll come and hit my knee on the corner with his leg. I'll get namaskar. Every day morning I'll get that. Okay. That's one when I was in the old hostel. Swami never speaks to me. Like when he gave cage duty, that's when I had the other conversation, maybe in the degrees. But somehow another incident happened. We were in the old hostel. Then suddenly one day Nityanand calls me. Uh, said,
The border.
what?
Nityanand was our warden that time, yes.
Yeah, called me and Keshavan Swami has given you a robe, like his robe.
So I think I should interrupt. I will interrupt here.
Yes.
It is just Keshav may not say it. I should say. Swami sends robe for what Swami called the model students who are well disciplined. Yes, and Keshavan may not say it, so I will tell. Because I said, what should I do like Keshavan to get that? Because Swami sent robes. Okay, go ahead, Keshav.
Yeah. So I was surprised. I was top of the world. I was surprised. Swami never speaks to me. Somehow I got a robe. Then I preserved it. Still, I have it in my shrine room. I worship it. That one incident. Then once I migrated to Canada, this is my first trip going back to Swami. I knew nothing. That's time. As soon as I got my passport, citizenship, Arno is the person first. He dropped me at the airport. Then I told Arno, I'm going for a week, just for a week. Nothing I read. 1997, December. I still remember. I went to Puttaparthi. That's my first visit. So I landed, went straight away, shower, bath. My motive was just to see Swami. 1:30 or 2 o'clock. That's when I arrived Puttaparthi. Just took a shower, just ran. I was walking on the west side of it. People were running. Swami was walking from Purnachandra Auditorium to Mandir. Oh boy, this is good. I ran right away, and I just normally our hostel lineup we comes and stands in that entrance behind the garage. I stood there, perfect timing. Swami came, walked in, stood near the interview room that the ark on the top. He just stood there and looked at it. The shirt I am wearing today, which was given by Swami, any occasion, any time, whenever I go to Parthi, all the boys ask me, how come Keshan you're keeping this shirt? Because I always hand wash this shirt. Okay.
This is an Indonesian Chinese shirt, right?
Yes. So
With the embossed embroidery.
yes, still I maintain it. I keep it clean, everything because
Yeah, we all got it.
because Swami has given it. So that's very important to me. So I stood there. Swami looked at me as a mother inviting me. Come, like nobody expected, like 2:30. No way in the world that Swami from Purnachatra auditorium he walked there. I kneel down and worship. Then Swami called me, come here. Ran to Mandir, took namaskar, then sat in the Mandir behind. Swami went to the interview, stood there. Then, as usual, then he came out after the evening darshan. That was, oh boy, I can't
I
express
think he just
that.
came out to give you darshan because usually in the afternoon he will not come out like that.
Yes, that
So
was
that was
amazing.
something exclusive for you, brother.
Not exclusive. I was blessed.
Certainly, certainly.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, so what to say, what is my see from childhood, I didn't have any issues I didn't know Swami as or understanding Swami as God. But what has changed is my own concept of what is God, what is Swami. The reality is, if all of us are born into this world and elders say, this is God, that's God. The advantage we had, I would say, is to have a personification of divinity. That is the maximum any human being can experience. So Swami gave us that. But my own understanding has evolved along the way. Because in 1979, one of the things which Swami told me was, I will always keep you with me. Okay, which I didn't understand. But today I understand what exactly he meant. Because sometimes when he says a statement like that, we think that it is physically being present.
Physical oriented, yes.
Okay, but what Swami wants is in our mind, he should be together and he should think of us. It's if we are today, after 50 years talking about Swami, it is his grace that we are able to even remember, even to have some gratitude, even to have the devotion. So my understanding of what God itself has continuously evolved. And it's still evolving, I should say, because he's everything. There's no word to explain, because he has shown his presence in so many ways. And people may think, oh, he's God because he's materializing things. People can say he's present in multiple places. Oh, he has run big projects which human beings can't run. But he has inspired many people. But through all this, we still don't understand who he is. So it is a lifelong journey. He is the mother of thousands. As Swami in my first interview said, "You don't know me yet. I am a mother with 1,000 mothers' love." That's what he told me, and I hope one day you will understand it.
I'm tempted to introduce to the audience your married life, because you got married to a sister who was also a student and a daughter of our teacher who was a librarian there, and your marriage was performed in Prashanti. Just maybe I'll share pictures. You can share some memory of that time.
Yeah. So the thing is, through all this, Swami never spoke to me. Okay. So the last time Swami ever spoke to me was in 1986, October 18th, when I left Bharti. But there are so many things he has done along the way, but without a single word coming from Swami's mouth towards me. But the thing is, so my marriage was fixed by Swami, because my father-in-law, being the librarian, he I think gave a few choices, and Swami apparently picked mine. And then Swami allowed us to have the wedding in Parthi. Swami didn't perform. Swami was not even present physically, but he took care of everything. So the thing is, as Keshavan said, he was behind the first pillar. This the picture you are putting is Abhis the Patha Mandiram. So this is my parents and my wife's parents, and my brother-in-law and myself and my wife at the wedding hall.
He was a librarian for us, yeah.
Yes. So the thing is, this is the Patha Mandiram, as the old mandir, which was converted. This is the old mandir shrine. Swami allowed us, maybe, I don't know what the connection is. Hopefully, maybe in my previous birth, I may have thought, I should get married here. I don't know. So we got to take blessings from the Patha Mandiram, because sometimes our prayers get answered. at different times, and depending on the amount of, I think, merits we have accumulated, Swami may physically be present, but Swami was very much present. So we got married, and but through all this, Swami never spoke to me. Even though I said, Swami just avoided me. Swami always had avoided me. I didn't have that many interactions. Keshav used to sit behind the first pillar. I used to sit behind the second pillar. Because no one wanted those spots, because you really can't see Swami much. Unless Swami decides that he wants to come and give you darshan, you really can't see Swami in the mandir. And so just the way Keshavan said Swami checked on him every day, Swami used to check on me also. Come behind the second pillar and make sure that, he has not forgotten. That was it. But he gave us the confidence and the ability to understand and experience his presence wherever we were, even though physically.
Arun, I would like to ask you to talk about Ariv, because when he came to Swami with the picture of his wife, would-be wife at that time.
Okay, so that was in 1986. When see, myself and Keshav, many things happened at the same time. Okay, so even so that time also, we were waiting after our masters, and Swami wanted us to leave. And we were not willing to leave, and then Swami gave us an indication by asking us to leave the hostel. So we got the message, and then Swami allowed us to stay till Dashara. But at the end of Dashara, my brother had come to seek Swami's blessing for his wedding, and Swami gave us interview. That was the last minute, just before we boarded the bus. Actually, we gave up all hopes, and Swami gave interview, in which he materialized thali for my brother, and he blessed his wedding. Gave her his wife sari. Thali is the Mangalasutra.
Which ladies
it's a gold ornament, which is like called which is called thali, which you wear.
Symbolic for the married ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was one Swami had materialized and given. But when he showed the photograph, he said, she's older than you. Okay, that I think that's what you are referring to. And my brother said, no, Swami, she's 1 year younger than me. Then Swami said, what do you know? I know, That's what Swami said. And my brother didn't understand, but there are various ways in which Swami has his own way of showing us that he knows what's in store. Because he's the one, we have to just be nimitta matra, we have to be just the instrument. And because my brother's wife passed away during childbirth, and then only it struck my brother that sometimes Swami tells you in advance, so that when the time comes, you recollect and realize, oh, the Lord knew. But he said, I will be there. He blessed so that he could face something which in his life he had to face. So Swami gives these indications. He will never come out and say, this is why I am doing it.
Arun, if you don't mind, I would like to just intrude a little bit more to you. Because I know this is little, you can choose to, not respond in whatever manner, but I'm just tempted to present this to the world. Like your brother had this experience. You are blessed with 3 children, and 2 are your twin sons, and they are special children. And now sister also has left. This scenario, when you look at life, you feel that, many people would ask, and sometimes people do ask that, you being the students of Bhagavan, who have lived with Swami and God, why shouldn't your life be smooth and, easy? How would you explain these challenges, these adversities, so-called adversities that has fallen, and you are still smiling, which is very good. So can you explain that to the people? Like, share your thoughts on this.
See, in life, we attach value to different things. My 2 twin sons who are now 23 are autistic, and one of them is non-verbal and is, I would say, 3-4-year-old child. He needs to be helped with everything. And of course, my wife passed away 2 years ago of cancer. And Swami had blessed our wedding. Swami, actually, when my sons were conceived, Swami sent Vibhuti. When they were born, Swami sent Vibhuti. When they were diagnosed with autism, Swami sent Vibhuti. But the thing is, we don't understand. See, the thing is, If I think they are my children and they are disabled, uh, there's something wrong, is the way I look at it. Because, we all say, God, you are the mother, father of the entire world. Okay. If I think they are my children, aren't they Swami's children too? If I am going to feel bad, will not Swami feel bad? And if his love is greater than mine, what can I say about myself feeling? If I am feeling so much, his feeling will be much more rectified. So when his own problem, then why should I worry? Because he knows better what is needed for each individual. Same thing with my wife, also passed away. The way I felt is Swami has given so many discourses. He will say husband and wife are like two branches flowing in the river of life, and they will come and then they will part. That's life. This Swami has said, unless we learn to understand that. See, the thing, the way I see it is, Abhimanyu, it's very, very simple. My life has always been smooth, and it is smooth even now. The problem comes, we feel it is not smooth because we want to do something else. See, the way I look at it, see, Swami has to find a job for everyone. So he has given me a job to look after two of his own children. As long as I have to do, I will do. When he wants to change the person, he change the person, he will remove me and put somebody else. I don't know. I don't understand, because Krishna is telling Arjuna in Gita, I have done everything. Nihita means I have already established. You just be an instrument, So Swami has told this. So I don't think my children are suffering, because there are so many children in the world are suffering. So why should I get a special treatment? I should already be grateful. That's why I have come to know Swami. I get to think of Swami. So I think the children are his. My wife was his. He will rearrange the stuff. Okay. Today they are my children. So fine. If that be it. So every opportunity we get. See, the way I look at it is very simple. Swami says you have to serve. Say, Swami has told you don't even to travel somewhere and do service. You just stay home. You stay home and do. So I'm very, very great. I don't even have the commute. See, sometimes we go to the hospital and serve, and we happy that people are suffering. Then we come home and we want everything to be perfect at home. I don't think Swami will be happy with that. Swami will be say, why do you have that double standard? So in this world there are so many people suffering. So the only thing way I look at it is, I have been blessed to be given an opportunity to serve at home. It's like working from home. Today, everyone is working from home. So I'm serving from home. That's all. I don't think they are, see, I don't even
You
have,
really make it. You really
I,
make it so sound so simple. Keshwan, what is your take on service? Because I know you are also passionate about service.
Passionate about service, yeah. Definitely. Uh, Currently, also I support back home some of those needy kids who have lost their parents during the communal violence. So, that's social activity I take part, and my mother is very much involved. So financially, I support those kids through my channel it through my mom. So which I continue to do that for the kids, those who have lost both parents. Uh, that's currently what I am doing. But when we were in hostel, we did a lot of social activities, and some of those tasks, uh, in the sense, I won't categorize as a social activity, which when Lord says something needs to be done, certain things on such and such a date, he had specific dates and all, which I could recollect, which I used to work hard in order to achieve that target what Swami has set up, especially the planetarium project. When he had the planetarium project, everybody knows that only two foreigners were there. Rest of them were Swami's boys who were supporting to come to live and just able to open that planetarium on specific date. Uh, so after the lectures, usually with the cage work or finish that, then I will run in there and I'll work till to 2 or 3 o'clock in the AM, then get out morning Suprabhatam, attend all the routines. I don't miss that. So I keep somehow with Swami's grace, I was able to achieve that. A lot of individuals contributed, namely, I would say Ramakrishnan, then Shrikant, and few other people. This lovely planetarium, what you see there, that was built inside the screen. That was constructed by all the boys.
I believe I remember engineers were from Switzerland or somewhere, two people, and they said that we need a team of professionals to do it,
Yeah,
and they had targeted around 6 months.
yeah,
And Swami said, no, 3 months target, and you have to start the program.
yes,
And with no professionals, then he said, use by monkeys. So
yes,
we were all sent there, and this whole, and it is a special planetarium. It has got that frontal projection, I believe.
yes.
So yeah, so that's what you're talking about, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Swami was pretty pleased, and Swami said, "See, look, when he had the inauguration ceremony of planetarium, look, my boys did it." Swami always just happy to see that boys can. He would set task, and he said we could achieve it, kind of thing, with Swami's grace, of course, definitely.
Okay, if you let me ask you a closing questions, like let me, I know time we have to maintain, but just trying to figure it out. Uh, many things we have learned, as you would agree, we learn it by default in a way, that's what I use the term default, in the sense we didn't really plan to learn, neither we knew what we are learning. It was a grace of God that He not only taught us and He worked on us for so many decades, but He gave us an environment where we could learn. But later on, when He conveyed that your life must become the message itself, then a thought comes to us that yes, we must pass it on to our next generation, especially to our children and to our environment, colleagues, and offices where we are working. So, Arun, Keshwan, I know you all are involved presently also a lot in Toronto with many things. So, what do you do? How do you translate that to your children and to your community?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Just going back to that, we have Sai Mandir in Toronto. So most of the kids, like most of our kids, go for, involved in the Bala Vikas programs and all, which we had it in a different environment with the Lord itself. But whatever as Swami has planned and education-wise for the youth and for the younger generation, the model what he has implemented in Parthi. Most of the teachers at Balavikas at Toronto, they follow the same model, which help the kids in a different Western culture uh, to live along with the Western culture, but adapt whatever they learn from Balavikas, which always it's a great help. Otherwise, it'll be a difficult challenge uh, to live in a Western world kind of thing because of a lot of distraction and a lot of other things happening around us, kind of thing.
I don't know.
Okay, so the thing is, Abhimanyu, I think the whole problem is, the most important thing is if in our own life, in thought, word, and deed, if we are devoted to Swami, I think everything will just naturally happen. Because whoever has to benefit from that will be brought in contact with you. Okay, so the thing is, we don't have to go searching for people and fixing people. That Swami says is his job. So
That's
see,
sure.
for example, we all may say, for
That,
example, we wouldn't say if we devoted. Swami is all knowing. Do we live in every thought, word, and deed? In every thought, in our own life, thought, word, and deed. We should think like that. So I think if as long as we are able to experience in our own life, in our own daily living, that naturally others will, whoever has to benefit will benefit. Because from what I understand, that is exactly what Swami did. He was there for 85 years. He was himself. There are many things which Swami did only after 50, 60 years, I will understand even a glimpse of it when I come of age to be able to understand that. Okay. So the thing is, we really cannot measure what others will learn. So Swami, even though he is divine, how many of us become divine like that? No one. Or maybe I should not include others into my category. But what I'm saying is, Swami was not worried about it. He did a lot of good. Whoever came to him, he taught. If they have questions, he answered. But ultimately, he led a life. So they say in an exemplary manner. People may not even understand the grandiose, the grand nature of that life. I think for centuries, for yugas. But the thing is, what he explained was you cannot do anything other than be yourself. As Swami will say, you be a lamp and the light will naturally spread. That's all I can say. So every opportunity, I don't personally think we have to do something specific. I just be yourself. Just think of Swami. Things naturally happen. Everything which has happened in my life is like that. That's all I can say. So there's no special effort required other than all the efforts being, paid to getting closer and closer to the Lord. Because once our connection with Swami is complete, the magnetic energy from Swami can flow through us to anyone. If that is missing, everything is lost. So I think that itself takes so much effort just to hold on to the source. The mind, to keep the mind caught in the, tied to that, to the feet of Swami. That's all I can say. I don't know.
Leaving Perthi is always a challenge, because especially after such a long association with God and the environment, it is so beautiful. It's always a challenge. How was your experience leaving Perthi? Was it easy, difficult?
So maybe I will go,
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Okay, in '86 when Swami asked me to go, I still remember from Parthi to Bangalore in the bus, I was crying. I just couldn't stop. And I felt let down by Swami because he said, I will always keep you with me. And Swami gave interview, he said, I couldn't even protest. And I cried and cried and cried. But over the years, over the decades, I would say, now I know what exactly Swami meant. The thing is, it's like a mother bird getting a child, a small, chick to learn to fly. It'll push, it'll make it fly. Does it mean the mother is not there? No, the mother says, I am already with you. You just fly. That is the sense I get. Even now, it's a struggle to be able to perceive Swami in things around us. But he says that also you need to learn. Because in 1960s, Swami gave a discourse to the permanent residents. He told, see, if you're a permanent resident, it can make you have a good opportunity to become a good sadhaka. Nothing more. But at the mental level, if you can connect with me, then you can become a Mahatma. Okay, then he goes on to say at the causal level, then you become a Paramahamsa. But the thing is...
Wow. Repeat again the sequence. So by virtue of being in Perthi, you are a Mahatma.
The physics, no. You can become a sadhaka, not you are a sadhaka.
Become a sadhaka. Sorry, sadhaka.
You can become. Okay, not everyone who is there is a
sadhaka. Sadhaka in English is aspirant. One who is pursuant,
aspirant. So you can pursue sadhana at the best. You have an opportunity because you will be given all the aids. Okay.
So from the aspirant, you can become
a Mahatma if you learn to connect with mind.
Okay.
Because that you will only know when we have connected to the Lord with the mind, only when his physical absence is there. Okay. So the thing is, he has already planted the seed, but then he has to kick people out so that they will develop that ability. Because there, you're always relying on the physical presence. Swami said this, Swami said that. And Swami doesn't want us to. So most people, he will somehow find ways. Then, of course, at the end, he said, "Okay, now I am leaving all of you to fend for yourself." Not fend for yourself, because he has already given the tools, the knowledge, the skills, the teachings, everything Swami has left with us. So the thing is, he forced us to learn to at the mental level. That is a real connection, how that's why Swami always says, you are as far away as you think you are. I am as far away as you think you are. Not even physical presence. The mental is very important. So Swami has given us this opportunity to learn that, and hopefully not hopefully, he is guiding us. Only thing is, we have to be receptive. That's all I can say.
Keshwan,
Yes.
final words from you, sir.
Final words, yeah. It's like once you come out of Parthe, once you settle in life, few challenges. Like I wouldn't say challenges. Once you settle in life, you have duties to do because you choose, and Swami has decided us to go and live a worldly life. But when you do the duties, whatever, as a parent or father, you guide your children in a proper course of action, kind of thing, with Swami's grace, of course, definitely. Uh, it's sometimes, as you know, you try to organize few things which to find time. It's challenging when you have other duties to do, kind of thing, of which I'm really grateful I was able to participate in this conversation with you and with all the old students and with Swami students, which I'm thankful and happy to be here. So
I don't know. Before I start closing down, can I request you to sing one or two songs more? It'll be a pleasure to hear more what has come through you. Let me say it like that.
Okay, I will. सहस्रमातृ प्रेम भरित जगन्मात साई हरे समस्त लोक परिपालित लोकपिता बाबा हरे प्राण सखा बंधु सदा प्राण सखा बंधु सदा सर्वधात कल्पलता सर्वधात कल्पलता सत्य प्रबोधक तत्वदर्शित नित्य सत्व गुरुनाथ नित्य सत्व गुरुनाथ सहस्र मातृ प्रेम भरित जगन्मात साई हरे साई हरे.
Very
Okay.
beautiful wordings. Very beautiful wordings.
Yeah, you ask Swami, who is Swami? He is Sahasra Matri, the thousand mothers love. He is filled with the thousands. She is the Jagannatha. And he is the Loka Pita, the father of the Lord, the universe. He is the Prana Sakha, and he is Bandhu Sada. Always he is the one who is Bandhu. He gives you everything. And he is the one who teaches you the truth, Satya Prabodhaka. And Tattva Darshita, not only that, he will make you see, have the vision of that Tattva. And that is the advantage of a guru who can even make you see. Not very, we are blessed. And that's why this bhajan.
Arno, before you sing one more song, I wanted to bring in Arif's story because he's not available for us, but it is beautiful where I find that as an example of surrender a student can show to Bhagwan. And I would like you to just mention, how he managed to stay for so many years without going to college. And he tore his passport. So if you can just sketch us that story, and that
Okay.
shows passion
I
of a student to remain with Swami.
see the thing is when we went there, I have to admit, I am as not as I even when I was there, I was not as passionate as my brother was. He after his plus two, of course, he failed, and so he had to repeat one paper. Then he stayed there. Swami, when he tried degree, he says no need no need for degree for you. So he was there. Then Swami, of course, Swami knows this fellow is not student. His student visa has expired. Swami didn't talk about it, and my brother didn't talk about it. Then Swami gave him some volunteering opportunity. He and worked in the administrative block for a couple of
He
years.
went to vocational also, no?
So Swami initially sent him and brother Hariharan to Ahmedabad to get some training, so he could bring them back and set up a vocational training institute in Puttaparthi.
That our singer Hariharan brother.
Yes, Singh and Hariharan brother. Okay, so both of them went to Ahmedabad. It was supposed to be a 11-month program, but after 3 months, they wrote a letter to Swami and said, "We can't stay, so away from you." And so but they apparently crash coursed the entire program, and they returned. And then Swami, they bought a lot of machinery for training, vocational, providing vocational training, but that never happened. They bought the material, it was stored, but I think it was subsequently used a couple of decades later. But they went and purchased. But later on, Swami gave them of work in the administrative block, opportunity to work in the administrative block. He didn't have work permit or anything, but he was volunteer. So he was there for until 84. So at this time, he didn't have visa. So he tore off the passport and threw it away. And for about 2-3 years, he said, "Swami, I don't want anything. You just let me be here and continue to, just serve. I will be," that was his attitude. But in 1984, Swami said, "Okay, now it's time for you to go." Then my brother was smiling, and Swami said, "Yes, I know, you don't have visa, you have torn your passport." Okay. Like that, he was there for 2 years. And Swami, of course, looked after, he gave pocket money. He was not a paid employee, but Swami provided food, accommodation, and pocket money. And clothes, whenever, clothes were needed. That's how he lived. We never worried what we were studying. We really wanted to be there, but, Swami sometimes kicks us and sends us out. He says, "You have learned what you
What
have
was
to..."
the nice thing about his name when he explained the meaning of the name?
Oh, I see.
As Keshav was telling, that was nice.
You have time, is it? You have time?
No, just get
Okay,
5
so
minutes.
I'll quickly. See, so one of the first things which happened was, when I had went to join in 1979, one day we were, after darshan, we were sitting in the room and somebody knocked on the door. We opened the door and it was Sevadal. And Sevadal is there, Arivayathan here. And he said, yes. He said, "Swami is calling," and he ran. He ran, and I also, because I thought Swami is talking about my admission or something, so I also ran behind him. But I couldn't enter the mandir because I was not allowed to, because no darshan time. I stood outside the wall and my brother went inside. The Sevadal took him inside and he went inside and came back after 10 minutes. So when he came back, we asked, "What did Swami talk to you?" And Swami said, "Oh, Swami asked my name and the meaning." So I'll just go quickly, because in 1978, after he joined Parthi, apparently Swami one day stopped by and asked him, "What's your name?" And he said, "My name is Arivadithan." And apparently Swami attempted to pronounce it and he said, "I can't get it. It's too difficult a name." So Swami, every day he would stop by him and ask him the name. So it became a good chance for him to tell every day the name. And after a couple of weeks, so apparently Swami stopped by and said, "Okay, what is your name?" And when he said, then Swami told the name. Swami said the name and he said, "Did I say it correctly?" So he said, "No, I have learned." Swami has this funny way of, giving you the satisfaction. Then Swami had apparently asked, "Do you know the meaning?" So my brother explained, Swami, Arivu in Tamil means knowledge. Aditya means sun. So it's son of knowledge. Then Swami listened and said, no, that's not right. It should be Arivu Atitan. Arivu means knowledge. Atita means you are beyond knowledge. That is the right meaning. So Swami asked, "Do you know the meaning?" Then he said, "Yes, Swami, beyond knowledge." He said, "Good." So Swami apparently repeated this a few times. People can say, "Why is he asking the name?" He is not even telling the right meaning. In Tamil, it's actually son of knowledge. Why is he saying beyond knowledge? All these questions can come up. So my brother came back and, narrated all this happened. And today also, Swami, in the interview room, there were some dignitaries. And Swami apparently asked, what is your name? He said, Arivadithan. And Swami asked, what is the meaning? So he said, Swami, beyond knowledge. Then he told everyone, see, beyond knowledge. That's the meaning of Arivadithan. So, that was the end of that. So for many years, I always had this thought, why is Swami so particular and why is he saying beyond knowledge, all this? After about 2-3 decades, this was one of the knots which I had not unraveled, I didn't understand. So I understood what exactly, when Swami asked, where did you come from? What is your name? Who are you? Swami wants us to think in Bhajagovantam, Shankaracharya says, Kasyatvam, Kaha, Kuta Ayata, Tattvam Chintaya, Tadiha Brata. Shankara is saying, if you ask these questions, you will know the Tattvam. Okay. But anyway, I realized what exactly Swami was asking was not the name of the body, the name of the Atman. What is the name of the Atman? The Atman is beyond knowledge. So it was not a name just for him. That is the name for every human being. The real Atman in a human being. That is, I realized after about 20-30 years. So one day I go to my brother and we have a chat and I tell him, Anna, you remember, that I have this, suddenly I understood it today. Atman is beyond knowledge. That is what Swami was trying to teach us, but we were not, mature enough to understand. Then my brother said, there is one piece which I have not told you, and he told me. Apparently, after this happened, this was bugging my brother also. Why is Swami, So one day Swami stopped by him and asked, what is your name? What is the meaning? He said, beyond knowledge. Then Swami asked the next question. Do you know what is beyond knowledge? So my brother said, Swami, I don't know. Then Swami apparently told, love is beyond knowledge. So sometimes, Swami's his way of teaching is he will never directly tell you what he is teaching. So I understood. So we all have to understand our real name is that we are beyond the body, beyond the worldly knowledge, beyond any comprehension. We are the divinity. And I think Swami, in our own stage, our own little small kids who don't understand all this, Swami puts these seeds of knowledge. And one day it fructifies. His way of teaching is only he knows. He's the master teacher. That's all I can say.
And I can't thank you all enough. Both of you have really contributed so much, given us so much of joy. Keshwan, any last message for all of us?
All of us, nothing, all Swami's praise, everything is going on smoothly. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. Arno, you want to sing another one line of any bhajan?
So I will sing. I will sing. Okay, I will sing one bhajan because it applies to the COVID situation. Because we are all using hand sanitizer to clean our hands, but there's a better sanitizer, better thing to clean. So I will sing that. Okay, because it's because it came a few years ago. I saw someone cleaning something which was already clean. And I stood standing and looking at it, and this bhajan just sprung up. As I was telling Swami, should we clean like this? Then this bhajan with the lyrics, tune, everything came, so I will just sing it.
Sure.
Nama jale shodaya, nama jale shodaya, nama jale shodaya, nama jale shodaya, kama krodha malina vinuda. Nama jale shodaya, kama krodha malina vinuda, nama jale shodaya, prema murti satya sai, nama jale shodaya, prema murti satya sai, nama jale shodaya, samagana priya vilola, nama jale shodaya, samagana priya vilola, nama jale shodaya, nama sada gayata, sai nama gayata, nama sada gayata, sai nama gayata, nama jale shodaya, nama jale shodaya.
What's the meaning?
Nama Jale means in the water of name. So that you wash. With the water of name, you wash yourself. Kama Krodha Malina Vindunda means this water will remove the impurities of Kama, Krodha, everything. Prema Murti Satya Sai, the embodiment of love. His name you sing. He understands the Samagana, music is the only way. So with that music, you sing his name and wash yourself. Sing his name always. Satya Sai's name you sing. So that's all we learned. There's nothing more we have to do. By singing his name, we are washed of all
We lost him. Oh, okay, got it.
problems, physical, mental, all problems will be washed. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now we come back. Just we lost you for a half a minute. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Okay, that's all I can say. There's nothing more. The name is everything. When Swami's physical form is there, we see in pictures. But if we have the name, with that, everything is achieved. As Swami says, name is the wealth with which you can buy God. Nama Ratna.
Certainly.
Nama Ratna is what Meera says. So Swami also has said the same thing. So I hope we all collect, put in our bank account this name, the money of name, and with that we will have him forever, in many lifetimes. That's all, Saira.
Thank you, brothers. I really offer my gratitude to Bhagwan for yet another beautiful occasion to come together, remember him, sing his glory, share his memories. And I thank all the viewers who have joined us and who are also sending beautiful compliments and sairams to all of both of you, and grateful to every one of you. And thank you once again, brothers, for taking time out and joining us in this beautiful offering, his story through the eyes of his voice. Thank you so much, Sairam.
Oh, sir. Thank you.
Sairam. Thank you very much, Abhi, and thank you to Swami for allowing us to think of him. Sairam.
Sairam.